Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Psychic Tarot Weekly Show with ASHALA, coming to you this week, not live, but on August 16th, looking at a forecast for all of us for this upcoming week. So the 16th of August to the 23rd of August. I'm actually pre-recording this show on the 15th of August because I'm going away camping this weekend. Right now, it's looking a little dreary and wet and cold out there, but it's nice to get out into nature anyway. So my apologies. I won't be able to share with you in the chat today. However, I will be back with you live with the chat on next Saturday. So before we get into it too much, I want to just say I just finished doing my live on Friday, Intuition Friday with Penny Kelly. And if you haven't checked that out, go have a look at that one, folks. Some huge revealing big downloads were brought forward by both Penny Kelly and myself. And I think it was a pretty extraordinary show. So go check that out if you haven't seen it already. And of course, as always, I'm going to remind you to like, share, and subscribe over here on the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. There it is, Intuition Friday, August 15th. Kenny and I just blew the roof off with some phenomenal predictions and timeline revelations. So check it out. And you can also, of course, follow us here on Rumble. And if you would like to book a session with me, you can come on over to the Beyond Mystic Consultations page, where you will find a 1-hour psychic tarot reading session that you can book privately with me. These sessions are done over Zoom. You receive a recording at the end of the session that you can keep and review anytime you want. So let's jump in and see what is in the cards for this upcoming week. I also was just watching the Beyond the News earlier today that came out last night with Jean-Claude, Janine, and Ashley Sage. Some incredible topics being discussed there as well. Creative isolation was one of the topics that they were covering. Also just so much awareness being brought to the power of our consciousness, and the whisper that they were discussing I found really interesting, and it connects in with learning about how to develop your intuition. It's almost like an instinct or a deep inner knowing about what is coming from a really beneficial source and what is coming from maybe a not so beneficial source. And I always like to say that I tune the messages through the heart center. What does that mean? What does that mean, tuned through the heart center? What it means is that I hold an intention, and I'll share it with you right now, that any information that I'm going to be revealing through my divination process, which is using either tarot cards, oracle cards, dowsing rods, pendulum, whatever it is, that any of that information is power neutral, meaning it isn't about gaining power, stealing power, manipulating power. It's about power neutral, aligned with the greater good of all beings. It isn't about taking power and dominating others. It's really about coming into the consciousness center of our heart frequency, the heart portal, the heart bandwidth. So that's how I always do my sessions. And I have this lock-in energy when I'm doing readings, including on these, obviously, on these shows, these forecasts, where the information that I'm open to receiving is in alignment with that bandwidth of the heart frequency. And therefore, it's going to be the next important piece of information that we need. Is it 100% accurate? Are the predictions always exactly in the timeline that we see? Not necessarily that, but the energy is leading the momentum in a positive evolutionary direction. It's leading us into the greatest version of ourselves. So let's see where that leads us today, everybody. Take a deep breath, ground yourself, tune into that beautiful power neutral bandwidth of the heart. I always start my sessions, my readings, with a little grounding meditation. So that for those of you that have had readings, you can attest to how that is very helpful for setting the tone. And when I do private consultations, I always do that at the beginning. So here we go. Looking at 3 piles, which is just a way to kind of, open up the possibilities. I've been shuffling, I've been alchemizing, using those intentions. What is this week ahead going to be revealing that will be the most useful for us going forward? And I'm feeling called to the middle pile. We'll put that one on top. Here we go. I have to say, I miss you all. I miss looking over and seeing you there. But I feel you in spirit already joining me. Okay. I'm going to switch the view here so you can see the cards. I'll move the cards into the center. There we go. Well, something is being released in terms of our almost a feeling here of we need to surrender something. We need to be prepared to walk away from something. Now, is this a fixation on getting to the bottom of something? I wonder what this is. It feels like it's something in the news. It feels like it's something that we've been fixated on. Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. It's almost like, that where you just can't let something go, but it's to your detriment. And what it is that we are letting go of here is something that it isn't the right time for us to be shown the answer to that. So there's more important fish to fry, is what I'm hearing. And, Penny and I were just touched on that very briefly in our show. And she was saying that she hopes that our back channel media focuses on things like this meeting in Alaska with Trump and Putin, that this is actually something that we want to be bringing our awareness to, and maybe leaving some of the, some of the scandalous, controversial focus, just walking away, leave it be for now, is what I'm hearing. So, and in our personal lives, this is just about saying, you know what, I'm prepared to walk away from something that I thought I needed to hang on to, that I thought I needed to prove something. And I'm okay with just saying, you know what, let it slide, let it be. Now is not the time to really go in and fixate on proving anything, basically. Now, when we look at this beautiful little page of pentacles, oh my gosh, in Taurus. Taurus is the house of the physical body, among other things, our pleasures, our enjoyment of life, of 3D, of the material things, our money, our material possessions, and so on. This is the 3D page. This is, and I often attribute the energy of this page to our health and our healthy lifestyle. So really some way this week that we are appreciating our bodies and honoring them with good food, good music, good vibes, good experiences. It's a little bit like, I don't want to say indulging in the material, but really honoring the material realm in whatever way feels good for you this week. It can also be that we look at our, let's say our savings, for example, or our investments in alternative currencies, and we might feel a bit discouraged because we might be like, well, it's not as much as I want to have invested, but they're saying a little bit can grow very fast. And this might even be about moving even the smallest amount into, let's say, gold or silver or whatever. It would be a good week that if you moved even a small amount into that, we could see very quickly that amount doubling or tripling. It's almost like building on the power of small is what I'm hearing. So that's cool. Okay, now we go into Gemini. Well, I am happy to say this is a great week for studying. This is a great week for taking up a new course. You can jump on the Beyond Mystic Academy if you're, you're spoiled for choice over there. There's just so much amazing material. Penny Kelly has really great courses on her channel, and she was also talking about, if you go to our Intuition Friday, she was talking about her upcoming course that teaches people how to be teachers of their own children. So it's all about learning this week, and it's all about what skills are we learning? Are we being taught? Are we teaching others? Are we sharing? As a Gemini, I feel really honored that we have the Hierophant in Gemini, because the Hierophant is like really seeing again the power of a little bit of education can make a huge difference in someone's life. A little bit of well-timed information, especially if it's about learning a new skill or going deeper into, not just scratching the surface. This is a lot deeper study than superficial. So I like that. Let's go on to, home, sweet home. How many weeks has it been, everybody, where we've felt like home didn't feel very sanctuary-like, right? In the last several overviews, home has been a bit compromised. This week, I'm happy to say maybe some of you did some feng shui or just cleared your clutter or did a big clean, or maybe it's just a good week to feel that home sweet home feeling. And really, again, so we're feeling very grateful, and in our bodies, we're feeling really good, and we're feeling really good in our homes. So that, I love that. And we are turning away from old, again, like I said, old narratives or things that we were fixated on that we wanted to solve. Yeah, like some mystery is just going to be left, and we'll get back to it later, is what I'm hearing. So happiness on the home front, we got to love that, right? We've got to love that. And there could even be some extra benefit to either unexpected visitors, family and friends visiting, going and visiting family and friends. There could be a real old home week feeling, homecoming feeling. Yeah, I love that. Let's look at Leo. Home is where the heart is, and the heart is open. Leo is the sign that rules the heart. It rules our courage. It rules our generosity of spirit, our loyalty. And there's a real feeling of coming back to a sense of loyalty within your family. So if you've had a family dynamic that's been compromised and is really a struggle, again, it might not solve itself completely this week, but look for signs that things are moving in a positive direction, and keep your focus in that direction. Yeah, look for the signs of improvement. And interesting, I'm also getting a real feeling of a spiritual um, a spiritual homecoming as well. There's a sense that we might be drawn to spiritual teachings, spiritual teachers that have given us great comfort. And this isn't just about consoling us, this is actually about like reviving us on some level. So, yeah, beautiful. Then the next house is Virgo, the little details, dotting your I's, crossing your T's, your habits, your lifestyle. This one is looking a little bit frustrating. So there could be some challenges this week where things just seem to be things in the practical, things in the like efficiency could feel frustrating. So if you find yourself this week where you are throwing a lot of energy at something, a project or a task or paperwork or like it's almost a bit Mercury retrograde feeling. I know we're not in that anymore, but it feels as though there's snags in efficiency. And I get the sense that it's because we're meant to be not trying to be super efficient this week. It might be a week where it is nicer to be present in the physical, be really grateful for home and family, enjoying the physical realm, your physical, body and well-being. Virgo also rules our day-to-day work. So if you find yourself, and I know my friend Char and I used to talk about this, we'd be like, some days you just go in with a big agenda of I'm going to get all this stuff done. And then you start trying to get things done and it's just not working, right? Everything's going wrong. The computer's going awry. This is happening, that's happening. And instead of just like getting more and more frustrated, you sometimes just need to go, you know what? This is my, not an excuse for a day off, but Spirit is telling me not right now. And maybe that's because we need to focus over here. So let's see what's on the other side of that Virgo frustration. In our contracts, that's interesting, right? This is in our relationships and also our contractual agreements. Things are still in process. So there's some sort of negotiation that's still in process. And this is even going into the larger arena with what's going on in global politics. We may not get finalized documents. We may not get complete resolution in one go. There's still more to be done. So if you're working with any sort of legal process in your own personal relationship dynamic or negotiations of any kind, and things are not like things feel stuck, just continue to put some energy towards it, but don't over fixate. Again, this is that letting go of being fixated on something. Because sometimes things just have a way of working themselves out and we need to just walk away. Or it's the timing, right? The timing is not meant to be this timing where everything coalesces. That feels really right to me about between seeing this here and this here. Things are still in flux. So we don't want to nail everything down when it's still in flux. Okay, let's look at Scorpio. Woohoo! Scorpio is I want to say it's our healthy growth cycle. It's our healthy ability to to kind of uh, have our time in the sun in full bloom and go through the whole life cycle. So Scorpio has a lot to do with that long count of time, eternal time, and endings and new beginnings, things, ongoing cycles of change and growth. We have here in the House of Scorpio the inner child card. The inner child. So, in terms of cycles and where you place your attention, it feels like we want to start focusing instead of on death, because there's been a lot of focus in our community on the tearing down of the old system. And, in this regard, it's kind of like, yeah, it's three quarters torn down is what I'm hearing. And we don't have to finish the job. Like, it's not going to revive itself from what's left. So instead of taking all our attention to fixating on destroy, tear down, release, death, it's kind of like where we are in the year of the wood snake too. We are 3/4 of the way through the year. And so it's time to start thinking about renewal. It's time to start thinking about the new skin. What's coming forward instead of just fixating on release, death, transition. Let's start imagining more and more what is being birthed, what is coming forward. So a way you can apply this in your personal life is, instead of fixating on what you're trying to get away from, focus a little more this week on what you're imagining, what you're visioning, what your dreams are. And also, depending how old you are, like, we can get pretty fixated on our aches and pains and aging, and just that not the fear of death, but just that awareness of the fragility of life. And a really great way to reignite your heart is to be around young people, right? Children. And so allow yourself to be in that frequency, even if you don't have children in your life. Remind yourself about the renewal. This too shall pass, and a new generation, or many new generations, are coming along. And we have no idea who these beings are. We have some idea, but I think it's even beyond what we can imagine. So hold space for the renewal. Okay, Sagittarius, expansion, adventure, curiosity. Interesting. We don't have as much going out this week into the world, into expansion. We have going in to study something, picking up something that you wanted to study and really, exploring that with your mind. And there's a lot of home sweet home is your sanctuary. So not so much focus on travel or outward expansion. Inward expansion is what I'm hearing. And it's not about that's never going to happen again, or there's no travel happening. It's just, this is not maybe for the next week or two. We're just kind of calming our minds and enjoying right where we are. I love that. That is funny. Okay, can you see this, everybody? I'm going to lift the camera up a little bit. Hopefully that'll help you see more of the big picture here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so we've got the Two of Swords saying, no expansion yet. Not this week, or maybe the next couple of weeks. No great adventure, no great travel, like just kind of pause. But look at this, in a couple of weeks. So we will be feeling different within the next 2 weeks. I know we've been saying this for a long time, but I did reveal a prediction date that came through in 2021 with Penny Kelly today on the Intuition Friday. I can't say enough. It was pretty phenomenal how she responded to that as well. And I feel as though we're going to feel very different in a couple of weeks in terms of seeing where we're headed with all of this. And, does it mean there's no more fights ahead or challenge ahead? No, but it means there's a lot more perspective. We've got perspective. So on the one hand, we're being told to just kind of rest and explore inwardly. But on the other hand, there's a real message here that within 2 weeks, we are definitely going to be exploring the big picture and looking out to the future in a huge way, maybe even more than we have for a really long time. So that is amazing. Okay. Queen of Wands. All right. Queen of Wands. This gets back into a little bit of that feeling of home and family and friends. She is so fun, creative. And this is in the friend and community realm. It's also in the future. Aquarius has a lot to do with the future. So this is just like a Renaissance card. It's art, it's music, it's celebration, it's exploration, creativity, imagination, all of those things. And that is showing up in your community. It's showing up in your connections with friends and so on. So you may be an inspiration to the people around you this week in that way. You may find a lot of joy in sharing with friends and feeling like we are on the brink of something. Yeah, I really love that. And also there's a little bit of a feeling here, she's across from that Ace of Cups, like step out and be your bold self this week. Be willing to be seen as you really are. Be your true, authentic self. And you may be surprised at the reception you get. You may get a reception that is different than you had even a couple of months ago. So, yeah, that's interesting. Also, have fun with friends. Music, dance, art, all of those things are strongly featured with the Queen of Wands. And finally, Pisces. Pisces comes in with a winning card. Really lovely. Pisces comes in and has us counting our blessings big time by the end of this week. And if you want more, count your blessings more. If you want more of the blessings, count them. Count them every day. It counts. Yep. Like over here with this Five of Wands, you could be, easily work yourself up into a frustrating node. But right across from that is counting your blessings and going, yeah, no, like really, that is pretty much the only card in this whole spread, it's a 5 and it's a 5 of Wands. It's so temporary, like temporary frustration around maybe not being as efficient as you'd like to be or as productive as you'd like to be this week. How many weeks over these years have I shared with you, this is a good week to be productive? Remember how many times I've said that? This is not a good week. It doesn't mean you won't be, but it means don't put huge expectations on yourself this week. It feels like more of a enjoy the life you have and count your blessings week than a push yourself. Yeah. Final card, the one in the middle. Let's see what's here. Oh, trust. Yeah. So let's see here. We've got a page. We've got the Fool and we've got the Six of Cups. Return to innocence. Does that mean anything to any of you? Returning to innocence. There's a lot to suggest a return to innocence this week. And what is innocence? Is it weakness? Is it naivety? Is it ignorance? No. Innocence is knowing all that we know and being able to hold that in a frequency of like divine human energy. And yeah, like the innocence of the inner child. It's beautiful. It reminds me a lot of, the animal kingdom, our beloved pets, and how they hold that kind of innocence. Even if they've suffered tremendously, they are so capable of incredible love and strength and courage. And so, this is our birthright, and we're reminding ourselves that it doesn't cost anything to come back into that frequency of the heart, that harmonic. We have 6 pentacles, we have 6 cups. So mastering that energy of harmony and service to the greater good, service to the divine, service to the ingenuity of your own human soul and the human dignity. Yeah, what a lovely spread. For the most part, looks like quite smooth sailing going forward here, and just not pushing yourself too much and walking away from some of the battle or narrative that you've been fixating on, right? Okay, so let us go over here again. I'll just remind you, of course, as always, that you can book a one-on-one consultation with me on the Beyond Mystic Consultations page. Use the coupon banner below to receive a 10% discount on that. I also have this incredible past life group meditation with Jens to share with you, and this is happening on the 17th, so that is tomorrow when you're listening to this live. You can join the group meditation, and it's just amazing what Jens is doing here within a group of people. When we share an experience like this, it actually helps us to have a more, I want to say, especially led by someone like Jens, who's so heart-centered, it helps us to have a more profound, meaningful opportunity. It's like we have the witness, we have the space being held for our own experience, our own journey. So past life group meditation, you can attend live. You can also watch the replay, and even watching it after the fact, it's a great opportunity because you'll still get the benefit of that shared energy with the group. And yeah, let's come on over and be reminded about liking and sharing, subscribing to the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel, and also, if you're not already, follow us over on Rumble. Let's have a look at some of what is coming up in this next few days on the Beyond Mystic schedule. So here we are on Saturday. We've got Sunday, Beyond Astro with Meg, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And Monday, the Daily Astro with Meg, 12:30 to 1:30. And Beyond the News with Janine and Jean-Claude, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday. So I've missed being with you all, as I said, being with you live, but I do very much look forward to sharing with you in person. Well, in virtual person next Saturday, and have a beautiful week, everyone. It does look like this is another one of those gentle and generous weeks for all of us if we can open our hearts to that. So, blessings. Bye for now.